Hey, everybody. I'm late, but I'm here. Get on in here. Hey, everybody. Yes, I'm late, but come on in and join me as we get ready to grandstand with Mother Theresa. Hey, Mama. Hey, girls. Hey, everybody. Listen, I'm just going to jump right in. First of all, I want to thank everybody for joining me on tonight. It is time for Grandstanding with Mother Theresa. If you haven't invited a friend, please invite a friend to join in tonight because I am going to be talking about something that I know has probably touched the lives of every single person that is listening here on tonight. I'm going to talk about on grandstanding is I wasn't invited. And thank God. All right, let's put a spin on that. I wasn't invited, and thank God. Listen, if you join me on Monday for my Monday morning motivation, I ask you the question, what happened to your invitation? Did it get lost in the mail? Or you just was not, maybe you were just not invited. And that is absolutely okay. So for the ones of you all like me who haven't been invited to certain events, to certain occasions, to certain celebrations, to certain things, this is what I need you to walk away with tonight. I need you to thank God that you were not invited. Whew. A subtitle for tonight is why rejection might just be your redirection. And sometimes us being left out is God's way of setting us apart. First of all, most of you all already know that you are different. You already know that you are different from a lot of your friends, maybe a lot of the company that you keep. But a lot of times what happens is that because we also want to be included, we don't want to be overlooked, we want to be part of what's going on, that we become offended when we're not invited to the party, when we're not invited to the celebration, when we're not invited to certain occasions or certain events, we are disappointed. Let's just be honest. Our feelings get hurt and we think, okay, we think I should have been invited. What happens is we start scrolling Facebook. We start scrolling the social media sites. We start scrolling all of these different things. And you're like, wait a minute. So-and-so got married. So-and-so had a party. So-and-so was celebrating their 65th birthday or their 40th anniversary. Oh, so-and-so's daughter got married. Or they had a graduation party. They had this big party, this big event. And I'm finding out by social media. I'm looking at the pictures and I'm scrolling. And you know, especially if you think you were supposed to be at the party. Baby, we are picking those pictures apart. We're looking at every single picture. We're stopping it. We're pausing it. We're focusing in. We are blowing it up to see who else is in the room. We're trying to see what they had on. We're trying to see all of those different things, because guess what? You were not invited to the party. Your name did not make the invitation list. And so you're having to go and you're having to look at all of the pictures of the celebration on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, because guess what? They made a cute little reel about it. They did all of these different things. And guess what? You were not invited. You were just not invited to the party. And let me just tell you, when we feel like we have been left out, and I know I'm making light of the conversation, I'm really trying to add a little bit of humor to a very serious and sensitive topic, because a lot of times, let me just tell you all, people of God, that when we are excluded, when we are not invited to certain celebrations, and especially if it's a family member or if it's a close friend, our feelings get a little bit hurt. And I'm just going to be honest. Our feelings are hurt. We feel like you have been left out. And a lot of times we don't understand why we were left out. We don't understand that, the people from the church who you thought you were so close to, or the people from work who you felt like, we sit down and we have lunch together every day. And then they have this big fancy celebratory event and you were not invited, Matter of fact, when they come back to work, they don't even talk about it. It's like the ones who did go, it was like hush, hush. And listen, I'm not talking about nobody that's a part of my circle. I am not. It's not that I've been excluded from any situation. So I wanted to make that perfectly clear. So if you think that I'm talking about you, I am not. Okay. But if you're feeling some kind of way, then maybe you need to check yourself, because I'm not talking about you. All right, everybody. All right. So let me just say that when we are talking about being left out, yes, it does hurt. It does hurt. Net, you're absolutely correct. But let me just say that sometimes, daughter, the door wasn't locked. It just wasn't your room to be in. Okay? It wasn't your room to be in. And what we have to understand is that there are hidden blessings in the no. There are hidden blessings in the not being invited. Okay? I said earlier about rejection is sometimes our redirection. I'm trying to read the notes from everybody, so I'm kind of looking from side to side. We need to learn to lean not into our own understanding, because, listen, when God isolates you, when God says no, when God takes you out of a space, when God takes you out of the room at certain places, he's doing that for a reason. He's really protecting us, you all. And that's what I've learned, that sometimes we can be in the wrong room and it can kill your confidence. It can kill your desire to want to do the right thing. It can be a very damaging thing for us to sometimes be at certain places where we should not be. Every table wasn't designed for you. Okay. You hear people talk about building your own tables and creating your own space. That's absolutely correct. Every table was not designed for you to sit at. Every table was not designed for you to eat from. Every table was not decorated with you in mind, or the decor was not created or put together with you in mind. Sometimes we can find ourselves in situations or in places that it will hurt us spiritually. Okay? If you find yourself in a place where you just know that, okay, I need to get out of here because there's some things happening in here, in this space, that does not agree with my spirit. It does not agree with how I've been raised, or it doesn't agree with my belief system right now. But you find yourself in that place because guess what? You wanted to be invited to the event. You wanted a place at the table. You wanted an invitation to the party. Hello there, family. Hello there, miracle. You wanted a seat at the table. But again, you're not meant for every room, and that is okay. That is okay. Sometimes God is preserving our peace, and not only our peace, but our peace of mind. We got to understand that we have been set apart. We have not been left out. We have just been set apart, miracle. So miracle, every place that looks like it's a fun place, don't find yourself wanting to be in the crowd. Don't find yourself needing to get that ticket to be there. Because guess what? We can be disappointed. Sometimes we can get to a place and we can get there and it's been built up to be such a big thing. But when we get there, it's like, wait a minute, I paid all my money for this? You mean this is where I got to sit? I've got to sit so far back, I can't see the stage. Or I've got to sit so far back, or in, the table that I'm sitting at, it's so far in the corner that nobody sees the, $500 outfit that I have on. And the food is a dry piece of chicken, some potatoes, and some green beans, and some hard rolls, and some unsweetened tea. All right? And you've paid $500 just to be there. Yeah, I could have stayed at home. Me too. Me too. So a lot of times when we are upset about a situation, especially when it's a situation like that, guess what? You should have stayed at home in the first place. You should have stayed at home and cook your own meal. Cook your own juicy chicken. Put some soul peppers on there, and it would have turned out just right. Okay? You're not being set apart, people. You are not being left out. A lot of times, what begins to happen as we begin to elevate, as God began to elevate us, and I'm not just talking about elevation in the form of jobs, but even in our mindset, when God begins to elevate us, or when we are moving from this state to this state, and I don't mean the physical state, I'm talking about a mental state or a state of mind. Elevation often begins with isolation. Okay? Isolation. That means some of the people that you used to hang out with, guess what? You don't need to be hanging out with those people anymore. The places that you used to frequent, stay out of those places. You don't belong there. I got a good chuckle about a couple of months ago when Net was sharing with me about wanting to go. She had taken Serenity and her friends in Shekinah to go to Dallas for a celebration. And they were going to get something to eat. It was time for dinner. And they went rather late. And so one of the places that they wound up, and I hope Net is okay with me sharing this, is that they wound up at a hookah lounge. Now, Net is a church girl. She got church girls. Her kids are church girls. What does it look like, Mama? Net now somebody gonna have to explain to Mama what a hookah lounge is. But that wasn't the place for Net. Okay, now invitation wasn't given, but sometimes we find ourselves in places that just don't match our character. Okay? And when you find yourself in places like that, you need to get out of there. Okay? You need to get out of there. Hello there, Xandra. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Um, but listen, we need to get ourselves out of those situations because we don't belong there. And sometimes we try to sit in a place. We try to we try to get comfortable in a place. We try to make sure that, okay, if it's feeling a little bit funny, we may try to do some little things to try to fit in. But the more we sit, the more anxious we become. That song says, somebody's watching me, my anxiety. And I know that song has been played, and played. But sometimes that's what's happening is our anxiety begins to creep up and inch up because we are in a place that we do not belong. And so what I want to say is that God places us and puts us in places that he provides a cover for us. And sometimes that is in isolation, you all. That is in isolation. It's not where everybody else is gathering. I was watching something on the news, and they were referencing the sitcom Friends, where everybody knows your name, where everybody knows your name. Well, listen, sometimes we got to go to some places where don't nobody know your name, okay? Because where everybody knows your name may not be the place that you need to be at, okay? And I'm quite sure some of you all have been there. Yeah, you're hiding your face. You're hiding your face. But listen, I know that I am not the only one that's been in a room that I have felt uncomfortable, that I knew I should have kept myself at the house. All right? But because I wanted to be a part of, and like I said, I'm talking about something that has probably happened to everybody at some point in their life, is that we want to go, we want to be a part of. And sometimes, listen, don't get it wrong. As some people used to say, don't get it twisted. But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's something wrong with you being there. But what I am saying is that we have to let our conscience be our guide. And sometimes we can find ourselves in situations, you all, that is just uncomfortable. And we think that we want to be a part of, we think that we want to participate, we think that we want to, hang out with people. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. But what I am saying is that when you do not get an invitation to an event that you happen to scroll on Facebook and you happen to see all of your friends or several of your friends or your family members enjoying themselves, dressed to the nines, and look like they're having a good old time, and you knew nothing about it. I'm telling you, don't feel bad about it, okay? Because I know that I'm not the only person who have felt like this. I know that there are other people that are listening who have felt like this. And the people that are watching the replay, I know you felt like this. But what I am telling you is that I need you to learn that not every place, not every table is meant for you to sit at. Not every place, not every party is meant for you to enjoy, okay? You've got to learn that there are some times that you are going to be excluded, and you have to be okay that you were not. Matter of fact, some of us need to be glad that we were not included. We need to be glad that we were not at that place because, things began to kind of pop off. Somebody got upset. Somebody pulled out a weapon. Somebody started shooting. That's to the extreme. But things began to go down, and you could have been caught up in that situation. Or something happened. The food that they were serving could have been sitting out too long, and everybody at the place got sick, got food poisoning. Hint, hint. Because that has happened. That has definitely happened. And so when you're at your own house, we can protect ourselves from some of that. And again, like I said, I'm not talking about nobody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. So when the room that you were upset about not being invited to, just know that that room was not for you. But guess what? Your room is coming. Your table is coming. Your seat at the table is coming. We may have to create our own tables. We may have to create our own events. We may have to create our own parties. We may have to host our own parties. We may have to plan our own celebrations. We may have to host again these magnificent events. And guess what? You can. And guess what? You are the person that is in charge of sending out the invitations. You are the person that's in charge of sending out those invitations. So you are not forgotten. You are not a leftover. You are being reserved for something very sacred and for something very special. I often say that God will give us a way of escape. God will protect his people. He will keep us out of harm's way if we will allow him to do that. And sometimes because we want to be included so bad that we allow ourselves to be in situations and in places that we are not meant to be. We are not meant to be that. I try to tell children, I try to tell people, the young adults, that this is a very true thing. Just because somebody said, oh, it's going to be popping, and now I'm 61 years old, so my words and my terminology may not be the same that you use. Somebody put in the chat, what's a new word that you all are using for when something is going to be, I said popping or happening or whatever, banging, whatever the new word is. You all know what I'm talking about. You young folks, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe is it a word lit? I don't know. But you all know what I'm talking about. I just need you all to know that you are not being, you are not missing out. You are not missing out on anything, okay? And again, like I said, maybe it's time for you to prepare your own table. Maybe it's time for you to create your own events. Maybe it's time for you to schedule those types of events that you are, again, in charge of sending out the invitation. And guess what? You get to invite who you want to invite. You get to post it on Facebook. You get to post it on social media. You get to do a reel of your own situation, your own different events. And so as I am wrapping things up, I just wanted to talk about what I wanted to talk about. Again, I shared with y'all on Monday is where's my invitation? My invitation is missing. I didn't get it. The mailman forgot to put my invitation in the mail. And I just want you to know that no, he didn't. You were not supposed to be there. Okay? And so I just want to declare that every closed door in your life is working in your favor. You are not late. You are not excluded. You have been isolated because God is getting ready to launch you into something that you are not even going to recognize. Okay? And a lot of times what is happening is that God is preparing us. He's preparing us for a place that he wants us to be. And guess what? If you're always here and there and everywhere, you're not where you need to be. And maybe he cannot get us prepared. Maybe he cannot get us prepared for the place that he is trying to take us. And speaking of that, I want to kind of give y'all a little teaser about what I'm talking about on tonight. Because if I tell you that there are places that you don't need to be, I just want you to know that when God puts you in the room that you prayed for, that he has prepared you for, again, it's going to blow your mind. So I'm going to leave that with you on tonight. For next week is that tonight you may have felt like you were being excluded. Tonight you may have felt like you were being left out. Tonight you may have felt like I didn't get my invitation and I'm upset. But I want you to know that a place is being prepared for you. And guess what? I'm not talking about our heavenly place. I could be, but I'm talking about some places right here on earth that God is preparing for you. As I get older, I realize I'm not much of a people's person. I'm a family person. I have maybe a handful of friends and associates that you associate yourself with, and you're okay. You're right, Miracle. That is absolutely true. That the older that we get, first of all, we're beginning to get settled. And after we begin to start having our family and our children, what we realize is that we value our time being at home with our kids and our families, our spouses, our significant others. We value that time, and now we value being able to rest. We value our sleep. We value being able to come home and enjoy a nice meal and be able to just kind of, enjoy our family. Not necessarily, I'm not saying you don't go out on Friday nights occasionally, Saturday nights occasionally, but a lot of times as we begin to mature, as Miracle said, and we begin to get older, that may not be as important as it used to be when we were much younger. So listen, everybody, again, I want to go back and I want to tell you that I am declaring again that every closed door is a door that you did. First of all, you didn't need to be in the first place. And then the other part is that he's working in our favor. God is always working in our favor. So when I wasn't invited, I just want you to thank God. Just thank God, because guess what? As we are closing this, and as my sister Cynthia would say, good night, grandstanders. And I hope the doors that God is about to open for you, that first of all, that you are ready. That you are not only ready, but you have allowed him to prepare you for the rooms that you are about to enter. All right, everybody. Listen, y'all have a good night. Y'all have a great night. I look forward to talking with you all on next Tuesday nights. If you're catching the replay, I hope you enjoyed just as much as the people who enjoyed it live. If you're not a subscriber on YouTube, listen, I've got a lot of stuff over on YouTube. Y'all need to get over to YouTube and see what's happening on YouTube with the other Mother Theresa. I'm sharing a lot of good things. I want y'all to jump on over there and become a subscriber. And don't forget to turn on your notification bell. All right? We'll see y'all the next time. Bye-bye, everybody.